All right, well, welcome to Cando Links to Learning this afternoon. Our guest speaker is going to talk about value-added agricultural cooperatives. So Trista is joining us from Saskatoon. She's from Little Pine. We're honored that she's carved out a bit of her time just to present to us this afternoon. So welcome, welcome. We're really glad that you are here. Tanse, my name is Michelle Nevadomi. I am here in Emesquiti, Waskagan, Treaty 6, Edmonton area. We have a beautiful day here, and I say beautiful because we're not in a heat wave that I can breathe in the beautiful air and not get caught up in my throat. It was hot last week, so we appreciate the seasons that we walk through. We're in the summer season, so first and foremost, I just want to give shout out to Creator for the gift of another day. As that sun rose in the east, that was a promise of a new day. And may we be able to walk in a good way. We're here to learn. We're here to listen. We're here perhaps to share our own experience, our own stories, or ask some questions. But we just want to give thanks for this opportunity, this virtual community that we've created in the last year with Cando. So we're glad that you are here. At the end, there will be opportunity for any questions or comments, so feel free to bring those to this virtual table. Even throughout, if you have any questions or comments, use the chat box and I will absolutely make note of it and we will come back to them as well. There will be sent to you an evaluation link. Now check this out. When you fill out that evaluation link, your name will be entered to win a draw, and it's a $200 Visa gift card. So y'all have a good chance. We got a smaller group today, so it's in your best interest to fill out that evaluation. And then the draw will be made on Friday, and the winner, of course, will receive a notification. So your voice is also very important to us as well, and your feedback. All right, so let's get on to today's presentation. It is very informative. So value added is the process of taking a product from the original state and transforming it into a new product. So if you are a producer, it can be challenging to both produce things like cattle or canola and add value such as processed beef or produce cooking oil. That's where forming a co-op can help. The cooperative model is a business owned by a group of people with a common interest who make decisions together and share in the business profits. For producers, it allows them to do what they do best, like grow things, while the co-op works to increase the value of what they produce. So Ocean Spray is an example. Cranberry farmers formed a cooperative to create new products of high value than cranberries on their own, and then such as juices, sauces, and snack foods. So today we're joining Trista Pewapisconias. I apologize if I did not enunciate that properly. She is the Indigenous Relations Lead from Cooperatives First. She's going to offer a discussion on how Indigenous and Canadian producers use the cooperative model to reach new markets and create new products. So it looks very good. And just a little bit about Trista. So she's a member of the Little Pine First Nation in Saskatchewan. Her role with Cooperatives First is to work alongside community members to form new businesses based on the cooperative model. Her support with business development and planning helps guide groups through the process of starting a successful business. Trista's professional experience includes various marketing roles, as well as writing business plans for Indigenous startup companies, which is so important and so needed. So I love it. She's a tireless advocate for Indigenous business. Trista is also a founding board member of the Indigenous Chamber of Commerce of Saskatchewan and holds an MBA from Edwards School of Business at the University of Saskatchewan. So we are so excited. We're so honored that you are here, Trista, as I'm passing the virtual mic off to you.
Thank you. Hello. My name, I am Trista Pewapisconias. and and I am the Indigenous Relations Lead for Cooperative First. I like to acknowledge that I'm calling in from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and we are in the Treaty 6 territory, territory of the Cree, Lakota, Dakota, and homeland of the Métis. I want to thank Cando and Links to Learning for inviting me to speak to representatives throughout the Cando network. I will just share my presentation. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Cooperative First, we are a nonprofit business development organization funded in full by the cooperative retailing system through Federated Cooperatives Limited. We were founded in 2015 by SCL and a group of researchers at the University of Saskatchewan. We opened our office in 2016 and have worked on over 100 cooperative projects across Western Canada. Our mandate is to promote and support business development based on the cooperative business model. So in March of this year, Cooperatives First launched a Your Way Together campaign. The campaign is to inspire Indigenous communities in using the co-op model in many community-based projects. I included in the campaign is the Your Way Together website, a free downloadable guidebook on starting a co-op on a First Nation. We host workshops and webinars, and we have a newsletter, and we include case studies on Indigenous co-ops in a variety of industries. We also interview experts in Indigenous economic development through our podcast. I will just play a promotional video on how the concept was created and the work behind the campaign.
I believe there is big opportunity for our First Nations communities. The concept of cooperative models and the principles behind cooperatives, I believe, mirror what our values are within our communities. We could create multiple jobs in multiple communities if we are able to come together and have that conversation about the model itself. Far too often it's the First Nations leaders in the community or the board of directors. Why can't we have community members being part of that control?
Starting a business on First Nation is much more challenging than off Nation. The Your Way Together guidebook is a collection of information on developing a co-op on a First Nation. It includes information on the co-op model, legislation that applies to businesses on a First Nation, and business development, including financing on a First Nation.
There's a story behind the graphics. The design visually represents First Nations from the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, all the way through to the Plains Cree in Saskatchewan. And I'm really proud that I'm able to pair these all together and create a mosaic that represents essentially a map of Western Canada.
I hope the guidebook starts a conversation within communities to see whether the co-op model is a right fit for them.
I'm an advocate for it, and people need to hear it and actually see it in action.
So the co-op model, the reason we're here is the Indigenous communities can approach agriculture products with any business model, whether or not it is sole proprietorship, corporation, partnership, or even utilizing the cooperative business model. So for those that are unfamiliar with co-ops, it is a business model that aligns very closely in the structure of a corporation. and it is a separate legal entity. But members that create it but also have the similar legal liability as a corporate structure. So a co-op is a business run by a group of people with similar interests who share the decision-making process and the business process. In Western Canada, a co-op is created by 3 or more individuals. However, in Saskatchewan, it is 6 people are required. It is legally incorporated and can be a for-profit or nonprofit organization. And co-ops can fit in almost every sector of the economy. Although co-ops are a lot like other businesses, they do have 2 key features that make them different. So the members are the owners and have equal decision-making power. So it's the one member, one vote. Unlike corporate structures where it is whoever has the most shares has more of the decision-making power, and cooperatives are more democratic that way. Co-ops also give back the profits to the members based on how much the member uses the co-op, not how much they've invested into it. So the distribution of profit left over after the business has paid for operational is returned back as dividends to the members. So it is distributed based on that how much the company makes that year, or the co-op makes that year. So co-ops fit and are formed when the members of the cooperative are working collectively to gain access to a commodity in which they're trying to achieve. So nations, independent producers, and individuals, where they see an opportunity to work together. And most of the time, cooperatives are formed where big businesses and governments do not support or do not have an interest in expanding to certain areas. And community members still need the goods and services or to reach new markets. And where individuals see that working together benefits both the individual and the community as a whole. So where people see the most, especially in agriculture, the best fit is to find new markets for procurement if they are trying to purchase a large entity that people wanted to share, or even farm support. So including equipment purchasing, or transportation costs, or specialized marketing is where co-ops do fit. So benefits of co-ops with the democratic way that they're set up, and every member does have a say. They also have to be structured with more community involvement. So for members to see the benefits of the co-op and have a voice within how the business is being made. And it creates a more transparent business approach for the owners. Education and training has been a high priority in most cooperatives, and especially in leadership. Co-op membership, both in Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. Education is one of the main values within the co-op structure. So it's not only to teach youth about the co-op operational activities, but also to incorporate like traditional knowledge of the industry or the community or land into the programming of the co-op. So Indigenous cooperatives can easily incorporate traditional agriculture and fishing techniques into helping the next generation in carrying on these practices. So a quick overview of the types of co-ops. So there are many different types of cooperatives, and each cooperative model or type is based on how people want to work together or the goal that they want to achieve. So consumer are stores owned by the shoppers, and where the co-op members of the co-op can get their goods and services, such as stores, daycare centers, credit unions, and people just want to use it, and they have their membership number based on, and then they'll get a dividend based on how much they spend. Community service or nonprofit co-op, they can't distribute their profits, but can reinvest them back into the business. An example of a community service co-op could be a community hall or medical centers. So there has been, I've seen a few medical clinics in the West Coast where they are set up as cooperatives. Housing are people who live in the same complex, but instead of paying rent or a mortgage, they pay the member fee. And it's the residents who are the decision makers and create the rules for the people to literally live by. Worker and are employee-owned businesses that are owned and operated by the people who are working within that business. And the traditional producer marketing, so this is usually within farms, fishers, artists, or anybody who wants to together to brand or market their business or their goods collectively to reach new markets. And the last is the value-added cooperatives. So it's not a specific co-op type, but it is a main function of what the co-op will want to achieve. So value-added is a form of producer or a marketing cooperative. So it's increasing the value of the product and taking it from its original state and transforming it into the new product. So the co-op is owned by the producers, but the co-op is responsible for transforming the product. So the producers are the owners, and they hire staff to create new value and expand the value of the original product using branding, marketing, or finding opportunities to increase the profit to get back to the producers. So in the agriculture industry, in the past 5 years of operation, Cooperative First has had many inquiries on how Indigenous communities or groups can enter the agriculture industry. But because each community is unique and has diverse resources, land bases, capital, different outcomes and mission, a one-size-fits-all approach does not work for Indigenous agriculture products. And I work closely with groups to figure out what those opportunities are and how it works for their community. So some of our observations is agriculture is a $49 billion a year industry. And so through one-on-one conversations, external research, including the Farm Credit Canada had a really great agriculture survey and report. And they hosted forums based on Indigenous agriculture. there has been several themes emerge in both the reports and research from both external and internal that we have found that Indigenous groups are interested in getting into the agriculture industry. So some of the outcomes and themes that resonated throughout the communities are centering Indigenous knowledge and traditional relationships to the land, capacity building, and building respectful partnerships and relationships with also financing and farming equitable economies. So the opportunities that we've seen and that we know of are some of them are gardening, oilseed, fish harvesting, and food processing. So the value added benefits are producers are paid by the raw materials that they deliver. But then as the co-op increases the value of the raw product and secure markets for the final value added product, the co-op sells them for the producers. And then the producer members will receive patronage dividends off the revenue of the new product. So while the examples of Indigenous agriculture co-ops are quite limited, I'll just provide an overview of agriculture in co-ops in North America. So the first example is River Select. This is one of my favorite examples because it is 8 First Nations owned fisheries throughout British Columbia. Members are concerned with like salmon conservation, sustainable fishing, and making a living. They have a centralized processing and distribution center that is for individual branding and sales. And there is a formal arrangement with the leadership of the communities, the fisheries, and the co-op. So the co-op itself sets River Select, the individual fisheries, and the co-op work together for quality management to promote projects and attributes unique to each river salmon, employing monitoring and traceability systems, and starting the point of harvest that'll protect the quality from river to plate. So for River Select, the owners of the cooperative are the 8 independent fisheries. So each fishery is comprised of the First Nations harvester and fishermen. So the fishermen selectively harvest the River Select salmon, and as they respect and conserve the natural environment with the selective fishing and quality control. So the fisherman supplies the fish and takes them to the local fishery, and then the cooperative is there to market the salmon using shared administration, marketing, sales, and branding, and to create sales channels to sell the salmon globally. In addition to just selling frozen salmon, the cooperative and fisheries turn the fish into new products and ways of transportation. So then they can sell different products to sell to consumers. So wild salmon jerky, flash frozen salmon, ready to cook salmon, and maple glaze. The next example I have is AgroPer. It is owned by close to 3,000 dairy farmers who have joined forces to process and market high quality milk that they produce on their farms. So AgroPer uses the milk to create a wide range of dairy products and strong brands. Um, they have a unique business model based on solidarity, democracy, and pooling of resources. So it's a model that they find is a powerful tool for generating and sharing the wealth. So every year they return the patronage dividends to members based on annual milk production and on surpluses that the cooperative has generated. AgroPer also structured youth programs to develop the industry and knowledge transfer through initiatives, including a young cooperative leaders program. So it is a one-year program that includes activities to visiting the dairy processing plant, meetings with members of the cooperative and other industries. So its purpose is to integrate these young people into the AgroPer's associational life. And they also have a young facilitators network. So those are the sons and daughters of the current members who will eventually take over the farm. And in 2019, they created a new administrator position for youth under the age of 35 to give an opportunity to young members to become involved into the cooperative governance. So this young administrator has the same rights and duties as other administrators in the cooperative. So the producers that supply the cooperative with the milk are the producers. They are the owners. And they take their milk to the cooperative to create the new product. So the cooperative creates new projects, has the brand management, and diversifies the brands. So they do sell milk, different types of creamers, different varieties of cheeses, and frozen treats. And 100% of the profits do go back to the producers. So my last example is Ocean Spray. So it began in 1930 with 3 passionate independent cranberry growers that came together to become a cooperative. And they wanted to create new opportunities and create a cranberry family. And today they are owned by over 700 farmers. Their average size farm is 18 acres. And they continue to grow and work on new opportunities in sustainable farming and making sure that their products and packaging are fully recyclable, reusable, and compostable. And 100% of their profits do go back to their producers. So the producers, owners are 700 independent cranberry farmers in the United States, Canada, and Chile. The cooperative creates new products, brand management, and creates new partnerships and groups that they can work with and get their products into new consumers' hands and expanding the Ocean Spray brand with their new products of cranberry sauces, juices, and snack foods such as craisins. So in the next section, I will discuss different models and alternatives that groups have identified in our conversations. Some of these are projects that are still on the go, so I really can't give too much detail, but give the opportunity of how these groups can work in a cooperative model. So the first one is in livestock. So lack of local slaughter, cut and wrap meat facilities in the region. So local facilities are either too expensive or too busy to take on new products or work with new producers. So producers do pay high shipping costs and unable to process traditional meat for their own consumption. So in this value-added cooperative, the producers can create their own abattoir, and the co-op itself will take over the responsibility of hiring these staff and processing, sales, and administration to create new products, or creating the ground meat, the steaks, the sausages, the roasts, the jerkies. So different ways of selling the beef to the consumer. The next opportunity is non-forest timber products. So harvesters work collectively to gather fresh forest products to process and sale from a central entity. So these are created to bring and find markets for their teas or chanterelle mushrooms or herbal ingredients to sell to bulk purchasers, not only in the local region, but also globally. There is a high demand for these chanterelle mushrooms in restaurants, high-end restaurants in Europe. So that's where the co-op has the opportunity to sell and these products from the harvesters to send and create these new markets for the producers and a new revenue stream. And this last opportunity that we've identified is community gardens that can be set up for individual producers or large worker-owned cooperatives. So potatoes can be grown by the producers for the cooperative, and the cooperative can process the potatoes either to bag them individually and sell them as the raw product, or create new products such as potato chips, french fries, or hash browns. So then this gives the diversity of the product and the opportunity to use these and create value for the producers and the co-op. So some of the considerations and starting the co-op is who should be part of the co-op, who will receive benefit, and who should do the work. So there are many considerations, and for these considerations, we would recommend doing the following steps. So identifying the opportunity, where where do people work together? Where is the easiest way to get people to come together and work together in a single space? So making sure that there's enough people to work together. Like I said, you need 3 members in most of Western Canada and then 6 in Saskatchewan, and identifying the members and their roles. engaging the members. Sometimes it is one person who has the idea and wants to create this cooperative, but ensure that you have like a good group of people who want to work together for the same values. This is usually the most difficult part, and it is just making sure you have the same solid group and you have the same goal, and making sure members understand their roles and responsibilities. Being a co-op member, you are an owner. And then once you have these, a group, a solid idea of what you want to do, contact cooperatives first. This is the time is working through and fleshing out the idea. That is my job, to make sure that it's a good, you have the good opportunity to have as much resources available to start your co-op and how to work together. Like I said before, all co-ops are different, and I love the challenge of finding the new opportunities and how we can make it work. So what does Cooperatives First do? We just start the conversation and figure out where the opportunities. We share knowledge and expertise of co-op legislation and the requirements. We have somebody in-house that works closely with the provincial registrars to ensure that paperwork and the processes are done completely, and it's a smooth process to work within the government legislation to make sure your cooperative is incorporated. And we have support. So if you want to help get members to be more aware of the model and the roles, what the structure of the co-op could be, we can provide that support. We do go on community meetings, and we do speak to anybody that the benefits of cooperatives, and we help with governance training, the incorporation, and we do have business support. So some of our business support for groups that do qualify, we can pay for a business plan. So we will hire a consultant to work with the group to develop a business plan that is representative of the co-op and the co-op values, what the group values, and making sure that the business plan fits the group. So I want to thank everybody for attending today's presentation. If you have any further questions or would like to discuss any projects, feel free to reach out to me and we can have a one-on-one discussion. I'd also like to encourage everyone to visit the yourwaytogether.ca site for more information and sign up for our newsletters. We will be, we always come up with new products and new ways of communicating, or if you have any comments on an idea or what you would like to see, just let me know, and I look forward to hearing from everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Trista. As the indigenous lead for the cooperatives, what's the name of the organization? I had it written down somewhere, but as the indigenous lead, it sounds like you're a really, really good resource. You would be the first contact person in the event that there's an indigenous community who has an idea or says, hey, we feel like we could do this. You would be that contact person to like flesh out that idea. Does that sound?
Yes, that is it.
A little bit. I feel like your role is so much more than that. But I feel like you said, I think it was a $49 billion industry. And so to me, that sounds like there's a plenty of opportunity for our First Nation communities to tap into this industry, to access whatever that they can. I also want to add, I feel very hungry after listening to that presentation as well. Potatoes are one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So thank you for sharing. And then it was really cool that you peeled back that layer of ocean spray. I didn't know that the United States and Canada and Chile were involved in that business. And wow, I'm absolutely amazed. So is there any questions for our speaker today? Any comments? Feel free to unmute yourself or use that chat box.
I have a little question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you know more about what this looks like in Alberta.
For cooperatives or?
Specifically for Indigenous initiatives, I guess I should specify.
We work with, so in Alberta, it is the three-member cooperative, so you only need the three. We do have created cooperatives in Alberta, not in the agriculture sector, but we do have experience. The experience I have mainly working in Alberta is we've done Alberta's first daycare cooperative. We helped with a midwife cooperative, and we've also helped in a couple of artisan cooperatives. And the artisans were Indigenous artisan cooperatives. So both in a producer setting and also a multi-stakeholder co-op. But I haven't had the opportunity to work in agriculture cooperative. Yeah.
Just to follow up, the opportunities that you mentioned in your presentation, were those specific to Saskatchewan, or do you see those opportunities in Alberta as well?
I see the opportunities everywhere. So the potato farm was a conversation with actually, it's funny, I've actually had conversations on potato farming in all four of the Western provinces in which we work. So like, there's just different ways and structures. So there's one that had individual gardens, and each member of the First Nation had their own garden. And then so they were looking at how to work together. And then in the groups that I spoke to in both Saskatchewan and Alberta, they were big community gardens where they had multiple people working within cooperatively. So those are more of worker-owned co-ops. And then the livestock example was a group out in Alberta. So it is like throughout the Western provinces. So I take examples from conversations throughout the different provinces.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Really, actually, really good question. Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments for our guest speaker? I mean, there's lots. I'm thinking a lot. I know, like when you were presenting, it was obvious that BC, like, yeah, salmon and fishing would be, be kind of in their field. So kind of thinking, well, what would be in Alberta? So I really appreciate that question, Caitlin. Okay, Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. In our community in Kanashadage, Mohawk Territory, we just started a community garden last year. was a success, especially given that we're just starting. And things are looking good for this year also, and there's been an increased interest from community members and support, moral support, and slowly but surely we're getting we're making it easy for community members to get involved. Now my question isn't so much a question, but it's unfortunate for me. The most important part of the presentation, which I enjoyed, by the way, thank you very much, Trista. I missed your slide on the community gardens, and I was wondering if it'd be possible to put it back up just for 10 seconds, because unfortunately I was outside and it started to rain, and I had no choice. I had to scramble back inside, and I missed it. Would it be possible, please, to put up the slide on your slide about community gardens?
Sure.
All right. Thank you. I'll just take a quick picture. All right, done. Yeah, we'll go, Trista. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Thanks for that, Patrick. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? And also, correct me if I'm wrong. So did you say that within your organization that you also could offer like this resource of, what is it? Like putting together a business plan? So if a community has an idea of what they wanted to do, did I hear that right? That you offer that resource as well?
Yeah, it's based off of need or how many projects that come in per year. So we do have an allocated pool of funds that groups can apply for, and if they're approved, we will hire a consultant to write a business plan for the group. Most of what we do and how we work is very collaborative with the group or community that we're working with. One of the kind of ways that I work and how I work with groups are I let them know in a year's time, I'm not going to be here every day, so don't ask me to make the decisions. This is your cooperative. I will help you build it the way you want it to work so that you can continue on with this business. And so that's how we hire our consultants. And that's our expectations of anybody we contract to work with groups, is that it's very collaborative working with the group to get a good business plan in order for whether or not it's to secure financing or apply for grants.
That's awesome. And I think that that's really, really important. I think sometimes people will get stifled, perhaps, that they have this idea, but they don't know how to move it and push it forward. So to have that resource, and again, I'm with you, it's all about collaboration and partnership and having those conversations so that you can push that dream, you can push that idea, that vision forward, that it can actually have legs underneath it. So that sounds like an incredible resource. And realizing, yes, you can't help everybody, so you have your own capacities, but even the fact that you are there, that people can reach out and get that dialogue happening with you. So before we close, last chance, any questions, comments? Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody, we got one. You're on the phone. You joined us, I'm going to guess, by a phone. So you are welcome to ask a question or comments.
I actually didn't get to see the presentation. It wouldn't load on my computer, so it wouldn't work at all. But I did enjoy it. It was very factual and very informative.
Thank you. If I will have shared the presentation with Cando, so it will be shared, and this presentation
Okay.
is being recorded.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yeah, we try to send the PowerPoint presentation to those who have showed up and participated, just so you can go back and reference, in case you missed anything or you need to go back and reference. And also your contact information will be on those notes as well. So thanks for mentioning
Okay.
that. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, this is recorded, so if you feel like you need to go back and watch this again, you can certainly do that you can find it on the Cando site. Again, we want to just thank you for joining us. There will be an evaluation link sent to you. A couple of you missed this at the beginning, but if you fill out that evaluation form, because your feedback, your voice is really important to us, your name will be entered to win a $200 Visa gift card. That draw will be on Friday, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. So you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning that. So please fill out that evaluation form. Thank you so much, Trista from Cooperatives First. She is the Indigenous lead. I thank you for presenting and informing us about what you do. There is plenty, it sounds like to me, there's plenty of opportunity for our First Nations communities to get some ideas going and growing and flowing. So thank you all. I hope as you go on with the rest of your day that wherever you are, you will be safe, you will be well, and you will walk with peace. So thank you all for joining. Peace.
Thank you.